Hey yo guys, so it's been a while since I made any new videos, but is it me or games really suck these days? Anyway, I wasn't planning to ever make any content on this game, but here I am 100 days later and I've been enjoying it, even with all the toxic hate and crying going around. So, Etheria Restart, or commonly referred to as Lily Restart, which then evolved into Lilium Restart, and most recently transitioned into Plume Restart. Jokes aside, this is a typical turn-based PvP gacha, like Summoner's War, Epic 7, and stuff like that. But it's not just a mobile slop. You can actually play it on a PC client, and the fact that I managed to get it running on Linux is the main reason I gave it a go in June when it first came out. So now, it's been about 100 days since release. RTA Season 1 just ended and Asian release is happening today. So I thought to myself, hey, let's make an honest review from a free-to-play player's perspective. There's plenty of content from whales and big spenders who spend thousands, but I think most people are either free-to-play or light spenders. So here is my review of Etheria Restart after 100 days as free-to-play. Like always, the TLDR is, game is not bad. Probably the best PvP turn-based gacha, especially for free-to-play players. It's much better than most people give it credit to. And this is going to be probably an unpopular opinion. One thing that's worth noting, since day one, this game was surrounded by so much negativity. Even I fell for the sheep mentality myself and started shitting on it during its first week. But I got off the cesspool that's Discord, Reddit, and other social media, and it actually helped me enjoy the game. So without further ado, Chapter 1, The Good and the Great. I want to start with the positives, because it's so easy to focus on the bad parts. I mean, everyone's been doing that since release. So as a free-to-play player, I'm able to complete both PvP and PvE. So I've completed 100% of the game, and I'll show this here. Everything is on farm, everything is free-starred, everything is cleared. Mythic in both arenas. The season just reset recently, so I haven't climbed that back up. But essentially, the game is fully completed as free-to-play. I can compete at both Mythic rank in RTA and the NPC arena. I'm not forced or tricked into spending money. If I use smart resource management, it lets me compete with whales. I don't feel a lot weaker than whales, and that's very, very different to most or probably all other gachas. Is this the best free-to-play experience I've ever had in a gacha? I think so. There's also no 50-50 or bullshit like that. Man, it feels nice not to have these stupid mechanics. I use 80 scrolls, I get the character, the end. And if I get it sooner, great. The leftover pity carries over to the next banner. No summons wasted. So for example here, I've already obtained Plume. You get one in every 80. I got her in less than 80. So now in the next 72 summons, I'm guaranteed to have another SSR character, and this will transition to the next banner. Amazing. The next point is we get ludicrous amounts of pulls for just playing the game. Please tell me of any gacha game that gives you so many pulls as a free-to-play player that you can obtain every character on release. And keep in mind they're releasing 1 Light and Darkness and 2 RGB characters per month. So that's 3 new characters per month, and I can obtain every single one as free-to-play player without spending. I think this is crazy because every other gacha feels like they want to fuck me in the ass and my wallet at the same time. Not the Etheria Restart. Play the game, get enough pulls each month, get all the characters. Yeah, okay, maybe you can't max those characters, but that's a story for another day. Another positive thing is that PvE is actually hard. Yes, I said it. It's a positive to me. I know many won't agree to this, but if I wanted to play easy, no-brain shit, I would just play Candy Crush. Is PvE maybe a little too hard? Yeah, probably. But hard PvE forces players to learn the game. Learn the mechanics, learn interactions between characters, shells, and so on. Could some parts be a little easier? Yeah, sure, but this is an infinite grind game. You can't expect to clear everything in the first few weeks. It just doesn't make sense. Another huge win for me is the shells, or the idea behind shells in the game. Shells create diversity in gameplay. Man, I love the concept behind shells. It really makes building characters a thing. By changing the stats plus the shell on a character, you can simply change the way you play the character. You can play it as a DPS, as a bruiser, or just as a debuffer. But this combination of stats plus shells plus character allows you to really customize your playstyle. And for example, you can build one character with a specific shell and specific modules to counter a specific playstyle, and then only pick that character to counter that playstyle. I really enjoy that. It makes me feel like having a choice and how I want to build the teams and how to play them. Maybe not all shells are fun and interesting, but the concept of your team being made of 4 shells, 4 characters, it really enables you to come up with some cool strats and combinations. I like that the players are given a choice in how they want to play and build their teams. And as we're talking about characters, most characters are strong or playable at the very least. Yes, sure, not every character is OP, and the roster is not large. Yet most SR characters are either good or insane. So most of these SR characters that everybody obtains eventually are either good or extremely good. Some of them, such as Viper, O-Ball, and a few others, are extremely overpowered and essentially allows you to play the game without having the SSRs. And you can max dupe them quickly, and it just really helps you with feeling like every character is powerful. Most other gachas don't have strong SR characters. Even with all their flaws, the developers are actually buffing the underperforming characters, so it eventually makes them viable, or sometimes even ridiculously broken. Recently, we had Kazuyo nerfed, which was ridiculously broken. She could sleep for 2 turns on her skill 1. That was extremely broken. This is one of the only recent nerfs we've experienced. Everything else is a buff. I'm not sure about you guys, but I can't stand games that have inflated number of characters, gear, or whatever, when in practice it means that most of them are useless, unplayable, and essentially deadweight. Not in Etheria Restart. Pretty much every character has its niche, has its playstyle, and can be picked. Some are still being discovered 3 months into the game. And most of these characters have their own identity. Like I said, roster ain't huge, but dare I say, every single character is unique and it has its own niche. Nothing feels the same or similar. Sure, some characters appear to have similar kits, yet those unique buffs, debuffs, or combination of skills really help each character have its own identity. So even with Plume being released, Kloss is still good character. It still has a unique debuff, it still brings speed down. It's similar character to Plume, yet it's different. I still use both, I still love both. That's what I expect from the game. Game is also extremely generous in resources. There's so many resources to get by clearing all available quests: Hyperlink Charter, Async Echoes, Ember Trek, Ethernet Rally, and Arena rewards. You get loads of lattices here in Async Echoes. You also get reoccurring lattices and rewards here in both normal and hard mode. Same with Ethernet Rally. And then you also have the Hyperlink Charter as a new player, which I've mostly completed now with the most recent release of the Arena Trial 2. So I still haven't played enough to unlock this, but everything was cleared before. There's enough resources for everyone. So many lattices, crystals, and other resources to get by just playing the game. I mean, sure, it's not enough for you to waste it randomly, but it gives you so much that I've never felt forced to spend real money. And to me, that's a huge win. In current gaming industry, any game that doesn't force me to spend money earns some brownie points. Now, on to the fun part. RTA. RTA is extremely fun. Even with the meta being a bit stale, once you build out your account, you build out your roster, and you focus on a few PvP characters, you then learn to draft, the game gets super fun. For the PvP enjoyers, that is. Like, imagine a low rank can win games against a whale player. I think it's unheard of in a PvP gacha. Max dupe, fully built characters don't guarantee you wins in PvP. So many games are actually over in the pick ban draft phase because one player outpicked or outmind gamed the opponent. Sometimes they have a better roster, that also helps. It's just really satisfying to counter a whale player and beat an account that's stronger than yours. I can't be the only one who enjoys that, right? Let me know in the comments. And this one might seem silly, but you can actually change gear, modules, shells without using some currency or time gating. What I mean by that is I can remove this and change this at any point I want without spending any currency. Imagine not being able to change your modules or shells or whatever you want. It's stupid, I know, but that's how most other gachas work. At least in Etheria Restart, we don't have this bullshit mechanic. I can actually try different gear sets, try different builds, try different things. It's a huge win for me. I can't imagine myself not being able to do this like in some other games. This game is also filled with quality of life features that do not nearly get enough recognition. These features were missing on release. It felt awful, and that's an understatement. But now we have gear loadouts, we have team loadouts, and we have team loadouts for every dungeon and boss, and a completely separate PvP loadout. So right now I'm showing you my PvP loadout. So all these loadouts are specifically for PvP. And then if I go here, these are loadouts for my PvE. For example, let's use Tiamat again. It's slightly different. I don't use him for PvE, but it's slightly different to the one I had on PvP. I don't need to mix and match. I don't need to change gear. I don't need to do anything. I can just set it up once, forget it, and I can play the game. It's really, really great. Feels so much better. I'm wasting way less time swapping gear builds. I just set it up, reuse it, and it's amazing. I used to spend way too much time moving gear across characters. Now I just play the game. Yet, this is still not available in other games like this. This feature alone is the reason I kept playing this game. And now, I can't see myself ever playing any other gacha without these features there from the start. We also have the dupe system. So the dupe system in this game is actually pretty fair, in my opinion. You can have at most 5 dupes for each character. You get a little bit of stat increase here and there. And then the final one is probably the best one, where you get 10% less damage and you do 10% more damage. But that's it. There's no functionality locked behind dupes. Yes, a 5 out of 5 dupe DPS is going to be a lot better than a 1 out of 5 DPS, but it's nowhere near as bad as dupe systems in pretty much every other game. Let me know in the comments if there's any more fair dupe systems. I couldn't think of any that I've played. Best part, as a free-to-play player, I can max dupe any character I want if I play long enough. That's crazy. You can buy even light and darkness characters. So I already have Yeli. I can use 15,000 of this currency to get a dupe of her. Yes, the light and darkness are a bit more expensive. And as you can see, I already bought out Holden since I'm trying to max dupe Holden. But I can do this by just playing the game. I don't need to spend. I just need to play long enough. Huge W for me. Maybe not so much for the whales who enjoy buying skills and power. I also just happen to really enjoy the character design. Yes, people are complaining about AI art, AI models, AI this, AI that, all noise. Characters look good, at least to me. And there's no crazy Gunnar shit. And it's actually so refreshing for once. And each character looks unique, feels memorable. And honestly, yeah, I can't fault the character design. They all look cool, they all look great. Can't fault this at all. Even if they're using AI, I don't care. The one thing that's a bit odd in this game is the character color scheme does not make any sense compared to their element or skills they use. It's a bit of a meme for this game when we have green character using fire skills or what appears to be fire skills. But yeah, it is what it is. Let me know what your favorite character is. And finally, a simple quality of life feature that also doesn't exist in most other games I've played is that you can actually see other people's characters, builds, and teams. No more guessing what team works, or what build works, or where. You can just share your build, share your items in chat. Like simple common features that are nowhere to be found in other games. I think I've covered most of the pros, probably missed a few. Let me know in the comments if you think of something. But even now, I can't help but be pleasantly surprised by how many positive things this game has. I mean, it's only been out for 3 months. It started pretty bad and it improved. So there's quite a lot to be positive about. But now, Chapter 2, the bad and the worst. This is the favorite part for all the Etheria Restart players, doom and gloom, aka the negatives. So this game has RNG. What I mean by that is RNG gambling in everything. This is the most RNG I have ever seen out of any game anywhere. It's everywhere. Devs take every chance to put RNG on top of RNG with a bit of side of RNG. RNG behind repeatable content rewards, RNG behind events, RNG behind RNG behind RNG and RNG. It's just fucking RNG. These guys make RNG events where you roll a dice to land on a spot, then if you're lucky, some more RNG to get the reward. It sucks major fucking balls. Devs need serious help and should see Gambler Anonymous. The other negative is that events suck 50% of the time, all the time. Not just because of RNG. The ideas behind events are boring and fun and they just suck. Some events are so much better than others because they give lattice. Others are filler, no brain, no effort, trash. Guess which repeat more often. Etheria Restart got a lot of praise from me earlier, but their damn events are so bad, I can't think of any other game where the events were worse. Here's an example of the current event that's going on. You do this, investigation once, GP outpost once, threshold twice, and you just click this button, you roll, you open. That's it. That's the event. This is so much fun. This is so exciting, so engaging. But it's also worth mentioning that the champ call event that just ended, I used to hate it. Now I love it. It's probably my favorite event. There might be some others like this, but yeah, let me know what are your thoughts on the events in this game. One of the most hated things about this game for most people, I think, is the skins. Or should I say complete lack of it? What skins? I mean, recolors aren't skins, at least in my books. There's lazy skins, then there's Etheria Restart color palette changes. At the very least, you could at least let the player select the color palette or something like that. I mean, they cost like 10 or more. It's actually insane. What kind of idiot buys these color palette changes? So basically, to summarize the current state of skins, 404 not found. Another negative that I haven't seen people mention yet is power creep. The Lilium buff on her release week was the first step. Then we have the release of Plume, which is OP is an understatement. So now the power creep is starting to concern me. I hope they tone it down in the future. Fastest way to destroy balance is uncontrolled power creep. Only time will tell with this one. Just something worth mentioning in the near future. And then I also want to mention PvE difficulty here again. But you mentioned it as a pro. What the fuck? Hear me out. Difficulty that scales is good. Difficulty that goes from 0 to 100 is not. I get how many players don't like that. And me neither, to be honest. Some content is simply overtuned compared to the rest. And not by a little. Ask anyone about overtuned content. Same things will be mentioned by about 95-99% of players. Difficulty should grow steadily, not suddenly go 2x, 10x as you go from one shell boss to another. It just doesn't make sense. Also recently, they set a very bad precedence. So when they released the new dungeon Chloros boss, it was quite overtuned. Then they released Plume as de facto counter to the boss and makes it easy mode. I hate everything about the idea of create the problem, sell the solution. I can only hope that they don't keep doing this, but it ain't my first gacha rodeo. I know how it usually goes. And then the part that I hate the most, Ember Trek running around. So I'm gonna showcase what happens. In the first month, this was okay. In the second month, it was like, fuck me. By the third month, I was like, why is this even in the game? And now this is by far the worst part of the game. Why on earth are devs wasting time making this part or anything to do with this? Can they not? Even with recent auto clear only works for normal. So for hard mode, I still got to run around and open same fucking chests. So this is the game mode. You spawn. This is the only place where you can see this character. And then you have to freaking run around and open these boxes and go through this whole shit. And that's the fucking game mode. It's awful. I hate it. Everybody hates it. Nobody wants to play this. Please delete this. If I can auto everything, please let me auto everything. Like, I tend to do this shit when I take a shit because it's fucking shit. I don't want to do this. But anyway, this content is so unengaging and unfun. I can just imagine how many people quit just because they need to repeat this same brainless and unfun shit all the time. Like, just let me auto this whole thing or delete the running around part, make it battles or something. I don't know, do something. Another big negative is that you can't try builds, characters, or playstyles. It's pretty common across most gachas, I feel like, at least the ones I'm familiar with, but it still feels awful and, again, quite unfun. I kind of agree with the idea that if you invest in a character, that choice should matter, but like, give me a way to try new characters without investing fully into them, just to find out that I don't like them, or worse, that they suck. I would love to try some stuff that I got dupes on, yet I'm punished if I do so. Not cool, not fun. I did see the solution in another game I've played before, where you have a system of essentially imprinting a max character with a non-max character, so you kind of link them together. And then the max skill effect, dupe effect, and everything else from the max character gets transferred temporarily to the new character. So they're kind of linked together. And then you can just try the new character as if it was fully maxed, fully duped. So yeah, it just gives you a way to try new characters, try builds, playstyles. I want to experiment. I mean, most players want to experiment. So just let us do that somehow in a controlled manner. So add some constraints so it doesn't get abused. And I'm pretty sure that if you release this, most player base will absolutely love you for this. But This is a great transition into the next point, which is the complete lack of communication between the devs and the player base. Nobody cares about global player base. The main audience is the Asian market. Makes sense, but it still leaves the taste of shit in global players' mouths. Are comms better now than before? Yeah, they are, but they were nowhere to be found before. Countless community backlashes, apologies, promises for better comms, blah, 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 blah. We are still getting less than bare minimum any player expects. So many hopes on the Asian release to improve comms, yet most players don't expect any changes. Just be better. Communication ain't hard, but they somehow make it hard. And these would be the main negatives that I could think of. I do have 2 points that I want to mention that are neither pros nor cons, but it's definitely worth mentioning in a review for this game. So let's call this bonus round. Module and shell farming. Everyone and their dogs and cats are complaining about module shell farming. Some are valid, most are just crybabies. I've been stuck farming Bloodbath, Bulwark, Jackal Guard, shell for more than 2 months now, maybe 3 even. Is it fun? Hell nah. Is it more fun to get everything you want whenever you want? Obviously not. Find the middle ground. Let players get like 1, maybe 2 shells they want per month. They still need to reroll the passives. Each character needs at least 1 shell, and they're releasing 3 characters per month. What's the worst thing that can happen if each month a player can obtain 1 shell that they need? They're suddenly gonna have 1 shell for one of the 3 characters that just got released? I mean, that's 12 shells a year. That doesn't sound too bad. Just make it so the RNG isn't so bad, and if you are not lucky for a specific shell, that you somehow can work towards it. Because if you play the game for a month or 2 months and you don't have what you're looking for, you're gonna quit. And then the most controversial take of this video, probably, the lattice income. But hear me out. Lattice income is fine, and yeah, I said it. It's fine to me as a free-to-play player. Would I want more? Yeah, obviously. But I think current lattice income is actually okay. Can I max any character I want without engaging my frontal lobe? Nope. Can I tactically select characters I like, want, and fully skill them up? 100% yes. In just about over 100 days of playtime, I have maxed Yeli, Lilium, Plume, Veronica, nearly maxed Lily, Holden, and a few other characters with lattices. This is after I cleared 100% of the game and getting all the lattices from PvP and PvE content. Not a lot by any measure, but it forces me to think, prioritize, and decide which characters I want to invest and which I don't. Few more lattices here and there I think would be nice, but if they massively increase lattice income, then guess what happens? Everyone maxes their character they want, every account has every character maxed, and then suddenly the meta becomes stale as fuck because everyone playing the same maxed characters. Right now, the character choices you made for your account matter. I actually like that a lot. Let me know in the comments if you agree. So in the end, I thought this game had potential. I still think it has potential. The developers do take 1 step forward and 10 steps backwards at every chance they get, but I will continue playing this as my side game until it stops being fun, or the direction of the game becomes so much worse. So far, since release, the game improved a lot. Will it still be here a year from now? Time will tell. But I don't think there's any other turn-based PvP gacha worth playing at the moment. So would I recommend this to you? Yeah, I would. But only if you enjoy PvP, turn-based, character-building games with infinite PvE farm and progression. If you want easy, no-brain, instant gratification shit, this ain't it. If any of this doesn't sound like your cup of tea, don't even try it. In the end, this game fills the void left by Summoner's War that I stopped playing many years ago. I guess an addict will always be an addict. But anyway, that's it for me today. Other games suck even more, so I'm stuck here enjoying this PvP game while I wait for 10-minute deadlock queues. Till next time, peace.